Hi, welcome to Livvy Portraits. I've decided to change the format of my usual newsletter from blog to video. So we'll have all the same painting stories and content that I usually have, but in a film format. So I get to brush up on my filmmaking skills. So let me tell you what I've been up to over the last few months. Well, this summer has been challenging to say the least. All our holidays have been cancelled. Kids are home broken up from their school holidays and college. Husband is immobile and unable to work after surgery from a leg injury. I've always got my painting to keep me company. And when things get too much, I just take refuge in my studio and get stuck in. So let me tell you what I've been up to over the last few weeks. Group portraits seem to be the theme at the moment. I've recently completed 2 family portraits and I'm just adding the final touches to my Egyptian palace painting. This large portrait of a barrister with his companion is now in its finished stages and I've been working on it for several months with many twists and turns along the way. It has evolved throughout the process, but I think I'm finally happy with it. The painting is very large and my little garden studio is not quite big enough to accommodate it, so the conservatory is now my makeshift studio. The client's brief was that he wanted the couple set against an Egyptian-style background with the heat of the African desert and an exotic, opulent feel. I photographed them in the rather unconventional setting of his office, he at his desk and her reclining on the boardroom table. So a lot of artistic license was involved, changing the British winter light into tropical skies, his cotton dressing gown into a silk robe and her into a dazzling red dress. The challenge was to not allow background scene to detract from the figures, so I decided to get rid of the original background with the flames and tried to keep it more understated so that the 2 subjects stood out against the dark background. But then we agreed that it looked a bit too gloomy, so I let in some more sun rays and added a skylight. It's been a real struggle, but I finally got there. I just need to get it framed and then it's ready to sport it up to his London chambers, where it'll hang with pride alongside his original portrait that I painted 20 years ago. This family portrait was commissioned by an old school friend of mine who got in touch with me recently. She commissioned this portrait of her friend with her family and presented it to her on her birthday. She only had limited photos of the family and none of them all together, so I had to mix and match the assorted pictures she'd sent to produce a group painting including the dogs. This next group portrait was from a lovely family who commissioned me a few years ago to paint this picture of their 3 boys. Since then they have had a new addition to the family, a little girl, and so commissioned this second painting of the 4 of them. They're an attractive family from Anglo-Indian heritage. Each sibling has interesting and diverse colourings and features. The challenge was to get the figures to work well in the composition. An even number of figures is always harder to work with than an odd number when painting group portraits. So I drew up simple thumbnail sketches first of all to get the figures to interact pleasingly in the space. Once I was happy with this configuration, I started on the main underpainting. I was happy with the end result, and I tried to get each child's personality to shine through. So that's all for now. I hope you've enjoyed it. If so, please click on the like button at the bottom of the screen or subscribe to my channel.